Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Motorsport Factory once again. Those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to my channel. Today, I wanted to switch gears as far as what I'm podcasting about. Just a little bit. Kind of be related to cars, but at the same time, kind of make a general kind of a thing where this whole subject can be kind of applied all over the place. Because if you look at cars, cars are made up of obviously electronics, wires, sensors, mechanical parts, plastics, upholstery, all that other good stuff, right? So in today's podcast, I wanted to talk about why we do lose a lot of our companies to companies overseas, be it China, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, wherever it is we go, even India. One of the reasons, and I'm sure you guys will know this very well, one of the reasons is greed, right? And not just greed. These big CEOs, let's say tech companies or computer companies, be it cell phone, to laptops, tablets, car parts, shoes, clothing, perfume, whatever it is you want to call it. Just give an example of type of materials. Have their own agenda and that they want to fulfill, and they don't care if you suffer or not, because they have to buy their private jets, to bigger homes, because and things like that, because they have their own personal gain, and and then that's where the greed really takes over their wanting to even care about you or whatnot. One thing is I can understand because they want to cut down costs and maximize profits, I should say, which in a sense I can totally understand. And it's also you have to keep up with competition. But the other aspect is that when companies like myself is trying to become bigger and need help, you have your local manufacturing companies who like to overcharge and undermine your intelligence, right? And that's the other aspect of why you have to think about why we lose companies overseas. Like myself, if I'm being overcharged by, let's say, thousands of dollars when I can go to China and get it made for $10, $20, honestly, that's maybe where I'm going to go. As long as that company knows what they're doing and they know how to make it, that's where I'm going to go, right? So, like I said, companies like us lose is why they lose customers like myself and yourself to places overseas. And then when they have the nerve to complain why they don't have customers, and then they have to downsize and or shut down the company, right? So you have that aspect, right? But the other downside we have to look at is of going overseas is people lose jobs here in the USA, and that can end up being a bad thing. So, for example, let's say a big tire company who manufactures tires here in the US. They do a fantastic job, excellent quality tires. They have they only make tires that are rated for 50,000 miles on up to 100,000 miles, whatever it is they do. So it costs them $100 a tire to make here in the US. Then they go find a place in China and they could get it done for $10. Yeah, you want to cut down costs, maximize profits, which is something I would probably do myself in a sense, right? But I'll get into the reasoning behind why I would go overseas as well. But so getting back to the downside of things is, you could look at even computer companies that have done this as well. Lay off so many people to go to China, and later they buy private jets. I'm not going to mention names, of these companies. You guys can probably figure that out for yourself. And like I said, for no reason other than their personal gain. Uh, and then and how should I put this? And you and the other employees have to find another job with possible less pay and less benefits, in the same field. But you also may luck out and get more pay and better benefits, and maybe getting laid off was a blessing. And sometimes you needing to be getting laid off is what you need to do in order for you to move forward. And sometimes take it as a blessing whether you get laid off or not, to maybe even start your own business. Um, so, um, but getting back to the downside of it again, is less pay or less benefits, and or you have to find another job in a totally different field with less pay, or again, more pay even in the same field. I'm actually getting a pop up from Discord. Sorry about that. I got me a little distracted. Right. So there's those downsides we have to look at for you manufacturing brands and whatnot that are looking to go overseas. Think about um, what you're doing before you lay off your employees. Was it necessary to do that? If you want to maintain good quality, you either have to maintain doing it here in the US the way you've been doing it, or if you're going to go overseas, make sure they have experience and they have the background in doing it. For example, if you're going to get rims made and you go into a company that's making galvanized piping or completely something different, even if they have the the tools and knowledge, tallage. You know what? I'm going to use that word from now on. I'm going to start copywriting these words. Tallage, which is tools and knowledge and know-how. If you go overseas, make sure it's a company that is reputable and they have the same good manufacturing practices like we do here in the US. Yes, there are good companies in China that do phenomenal jobs. You won't be able to tell the difference between American made versus these Chinese made ones. They follow the same practices and the same manufacturing standards here, because they were trained by companies who were here in the US that worked with these companies and trained them pretty much like, this is how we need to do it. This is the same standards we need to have. The testing, the quality of the aluminum or whatever it is they're making, and the materials they're using, and things of that nature, right? So for the employee manufacturing, yeah, it may seem like a good idea to go overseas to get, like I said, to cut down costs and maximize profits. But for the employee, it can be a bad thing. And unless they reposition you into a different position and or train everybody to pretty much check all the quality work that we get done overseas anyway, right? Also, to give you another example for myself, over the years, how things have been frustrating for me to get stuff branding and to step up on the product line that I currently have. I was making these torsion bar bushings for the Mercedes, like SUVs, like the what are they called? I forget what now. Just totally forgot. I have a chart. Not SC 500. I think that's the Lexus models. It was something. If I have my sheet of paper, I can't find it. But anyways, the Mercedes SUVs, and it shows what applications from what year to what year it'll fit. So the torsion bar bushings was probably like no bigger than this, right? So, and it's probably like no thicker than probably like that, right? So one company who specialized in plastic materials, the machinist was trying to charge like $200 for a set of these things, right? With the type of material that I wanted to use, and but the normal strong material it was made from was sold for like $30, $40 for a set. So the lead engineer was like, "Oh, hey, my machinist is trying to charge, so you're not making any money." So I said, with that being said, there's no point in me coming to you, because if I am getting charged $200 to get something made, um, you just kind of killed your chance from me ever having to get any work done by you ever. Because for me, the first impression is what I take from you, because if you're just trying to rip me off, then I'm not going to waste my time with you. I've dealt with machine shops who were more than helpful. They took the time to make a part. They did charge, but they didn't charge ridiculous. They were still reasonable. They knew what I was trying to do. They know I'm trying a small guy trying to build up a brand and stuff like that. So they knew making custom one-off things built to order was fine by them. They're like, hey, it's money for me. It's good practice. Something I can work on this. If it takes me 6 hours to make, it just gives me an idea on how can I better make this part without spending 6 hours. How do I take 6 hours and cut it down to three? And do I need to either step up on the type of bits I'm using to better equipment, right? And I'll get in more into that in a second, right? So when I went to to finish up the story, why I was trying to make these torsion bar bushings is because I know there was a known issue of these bushings cracking. So I said, what kind of material can I use that will last a longer time, 5, 10, maybe 20 years, whatever it is. So again, trying to make it out of nylon. So I'm still working with this one guy to see if he can help me make it, to see if it's going to be worth making. This is the same guy that I was actually having make me motor mounts, aluminum, obviously the aluminum motor mounts with a nylon bushing. The nylon is a self-lubricating bushing, so you don't have to worry about doing any kind of maintenance work and all that other stuff, and it would probably be good for high performance related kind of things, which I'm still probably going to make the bushings and whatnot for those who want to get the bushings made. I can, if you want, you can send the motor mounts to me. I'll get it cleaned up, have the motor mounts fixed into it, and or have the bushings made and have it sent to you, and then you could just install it yourself, whatnot. Right. So the motor mount, my guy was quoting me $200 just for one motor mount. And I told him, ain't no one's going to pay that kind of money for just one motor mount. I understand because he has his own machinist, so he goes to his machinist. And, I'm sure his machinist is probably charging $100, $130, whatever, per motor mount. And then he's putting on his markup on it, because I know I would do the same thing too. Motor mounts, depending on the brand, the quality, you're looking at, let's say, I think it was Need for Speed's website. They were selling a motor mount for, I think, for the Mini Cooper. It was a one motor mount went in for $130, and that was a lifetime warranty on it. So that's one of the things that I need to, I will try to offer as a lifetime warranty on the motor mounts and any other products that I do sell. But I can't promise that. I mean, if you're using it for race use, I can't promise lifetime warranty on them. So, getting back to the motor mount issue, it's like I told them I may have to go overseas to get the motor mounts itself made. I can send it to you, and you can mount the bushings on them, and then send them to me, and then we have motor mounts completely finished, right? So that was the second issue. The third issue was, for those of you familiar with the Mazda Speed 3s that have the high pressure fuel pump that's mounted to the cylinder head, when you take it out of or you can call it the cam driven fuel pump, not the internal fuel pump that's on the fuel tank, but the one that goes on the cylinder head, like I said. So there was a popular mod where the cylinder and the piston and cylinder. So obviously, what they did was, the piston had a larger diameter, and also the barrel or cylinder, however you want to call it, was also larger with more holes in it, and obviously to deliver more fuel, especially when you do some mods to it. Which I was still trying to do as well because I had some ideas, treatments, and other things I wanted to do to it. Because I got a stock one out of that, and I was trying to see why some of these aftermarket high performance ones were seizing and galling, because two metals, sometimes going at a high speed, and if it's not properly machined and honed right and not properly treated, it can, seize up, and cause a lot of problems. So, for those of you familiar with WPC coating, that was a metal treatment that I wanted to do. There's a lot of other treatments out there, but this is one I wanted to use. There's videos out there, and it shows how it creates a good seal, and at the same time, it doesn't affect the tolerances to what it is you're manufacturing and whatnot. So, doing pistons, I should say cylinder walls, camshafts, even the valves. I was thinking bearings, crankshaft journals, whatnot. I want to do that when I start building up motors and whatnot. So the fuel pump, this one company in the Bay Area, when I lived in the Bay Area, they're trying to charge me $6,000 to $8,000 for this prototype. I said, look, I'm already giving you parts. All you have to do is just kind of step it up on the size, find better materials to use and whatnot. And I said, I'm not going to pay you $6,000 to $8,000 when I can get a local machine shop to charge me maybe $100 or $200 to get it done and treated and whatnot, So this company wanted to, again, overcharge me, and that's where I was like, okay, you know what? I have to kind of either start doing things myself to find a reasonable company to really help me, right? And this is a reminder for yourselves, for those of you who are trying to build a company, whether it's a brand of some sort or just a business. Be around the people that have a good intention and are willing to help you, right? So over the years, I did get a little frustrated, like I said, and I took a break from manufacturing and trying to design. I just started doing custom one-off things, right? There are things that I can build myself that are built to order, and that's not a problem, right? So manufacturing companies, for those of you that are manufacturing companies and whatnot, need to come to realize or try to help the small guys like myself, like yourselves, and help grow, right? Especially if be it short, medium, long production runs. So maybe one day, I can buy that company out and you are strictly making stuff for me, right? And you're so busy that that's all you have time for, because I want to focus on not just replacement parts. I want to focus on all high performance parts and tools and things like that. I have a lot of ideas and drawings and prototypes that I've been working on. I know I haven't really got a chance to really share it, but I want to share a lot of this stuff with you guys. So if these companies actually take the time to really help out, that'd be awesome, right? The thing these manufacturing companies need to know, the local ones especially that want to overcharge and rip you off, they need to realize that when we grow without them, I hope that they do regret the decision they made by trying to rip us off, right? Because they're like, oh, I want to help you out now. No, I don't want your help. I got someone else to help me, and they're taking care of me, and they're helping me out, and they have a good intention. They need to make money. I need to make money, and we're working as a team instead of like just trying to rip me off like some people are, right? So my thing is, manufacturing companies, for those of you viewing this video that are watching this video, give people a chance and help them grow, right? There's a YouTube channel called Titan something, and they're a manufacturing company, and they are really on the ball with trying to keep the manufacturing here and keeping the costs down, right? So One of the other thing is you have to, getting back to the point on manufacturing using the right bits and equipment. Um, some of you guys that use old technology, manual lathes and machining and CNCs, I'm not dissing those equipment and whatnot, but in order to cut down costs and increase production and probably even get more business, step it up on the technology if you can afford it. Be it getting better bits that's out there now to bettering equipment, better computerized equipment and whatnot, right? Titan is stepped it up. Instead of having these companies that are going overseas. I forget the guy's name now. I hope he can forgive me for that. But he seems like a cool, legit, down to earth dude, and he's somebody I'd like to meet one day. He's trying to keep the jobs here. He's trying to keep the production costs down. So he even mentions it in his YouTube video. Like, so instead of cutting 50 inches per minute, he's doing like 500 inches a minute, right? And they're using water, liquid cooling to keep the bits cool, and to and just speeding up the production and the manufacturing and how you program the machine to how you actually get. How is that machine gonna cut? Are you gonna cut like the thick? Let's say the thickness. Bit's gonna cut quarter inch, or is it gonna shave off a half an inch at a time with whatever shape you're making, right? So, are you gonna liquid cool it, or are you gonna just cool it with air and blow off any excess, whatnot? So it's all in the technique and how much production, how well you do your production speed, I guess you want to call it, right? So that's all I have to talk about today, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate it. If there's something I missed to something you guys feel I'm wrong about, totally understand. I know I don't expect everyone to agree with my perspective on everything. I like to keep an open mind, and please chime in on the comments section. And I appreciate for you subscribers that are subscribed to my channel and watch my videos. Also, stay tuned for the shop project that I have where I'm working on. I'm going to show you the before and after. So it's going to be a lengthy project. I'm going to give you the introduction to the the actual backyard of what it looks like with all the trees, and then what I'm planning to do. You're going to watch all the little bit of teardown. I'm not going to completely bore you with all of it, but I'm going to make a few video lists of the intro to the cutting down the trees, the demoing of the storages, the landscaping and excavating, demoing the concrete and doing the grading work, reinforcement, to laying down new concrete, to adding the building, adding a lift, and all that other good stuff, right? So like I said, the warehouse shop is going to be used for not only for Motorsport Factory, but also for my gaming community, because I do have a gaming community that I like to stream with. If you would like all that information, that I'll post that all on the bottom of the description as well. And all right, I guess that's all I got to say. So please don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Subscribe to my channel, join me on my Facebook, hit that bell notification to stay up to date and get alerted for when I post a new video. I do thank you guys for your patience, for being loyal to me, and be loyal to other people. And before I do cut this video out, I want to give a big shout out to Eric the Car Guy, Scotty Kilmer, Brian's Mobile One, Chris Fix, Engineering Explained. Let's see, who else is there? Mechanic OC, Eric O, and let me see who else is there. If I missed somebody, I do apologize. I keep doing you guys' thing. I've got mad respect for a lot of you guys. So I'll have my Facebook and all of the description below. And I will see you guys in my next video. All right? You guys have a good one. Peace.